HCAM News is supported by our viewers and by Hopkinton Drug, located in this historic New England town since 1954. They are a multifaceted store dedicated to providing clients with an array of healthcare options.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's edition of HCAM News. I'm HCAM News Director Tom Nappy, here to fill you in on all the happenings in Hopkinton. On today's edition of HCAM News, we have the latest in Hiller sports. We talk with head coach of the Hiller girls basketball team, Mike Greco. But first, the mask requirement for students at Hopkinton schools was discussed at the most recent school board meeting. The school committee recently held a meeting, and masks for students was one of the main topics of discussion. Some community members showed up to make their voice heard.
Dr. Kavanaugh and members of the school committee, we, the undersigned 353 Hopkinton residents, write in support of the continuation of the school district's global indoor masking for all of the district school campuses. Like all of our neighbors in Hopkinton, we are genuinely fatigued by the COVID-19 pandemic. However, mainstream scientific experts, including the AAP and CDC, continue to endorse global masking in schools regardless of vaccination status. While our reported district cases are decreasing, our town and the school positivity numbers remain high. The current COVID surge is by no means over. Families in all of Hopkinton schools continue to receive daily COVID notices, and our town has occupied the CDC's red zone for much of this season. Our vaccination rates locally are unquestionably impressive. Regrettably, vaccination alone is not enough to stop this variant spread. Global masking is a critical and accessible tool to ensure more in-person schooling for more students and to protect our most vulnerable community members.
There are members of every community in the world who are characterized as immunocompromised. Fortunately, not only do these members make up a small segment of the community, but we also understand how we can protect them. During COVID, it seems that this term safetyism has sort of taken over. Safety at all costs, at all times, in all scenarios, no matter how adversely a certain mitigation measure can impact the greater population. Often the remedy is actually worse than the disease itself. When I was a senior here in this very district, not in this school, but the middle school, when that was the high school, in 1997, my sister passed away just before her 16th birthday. Her name was Chelsea, and she was born with a disease, a very rare disease called Sanfilippo syndrome. It's a rare autosomal recessive disorder. So she was, from birth, the definition of immunocompromised, severely. Most children with Sanfilippo pass away in their teens, and usually the final cause of death is pneumonia due to their weakened immune system. She was in a wheelchair most of her life, on feeding tubes at the end, and spent much of her time actually at the respite center. And so they remember her quite well. Actually, they still have pictures of her up. I bring her up because despite her heightened risk from many illnesses, my family never once asked the entire community to be responsible for her protection. We never expected the entire community to be subjected to mitigation measures for her safety. We knew what we could do to protect her, and that's what we did.
I walked 2.5 miles in the hospital, pushing an IV and holding a suitcase of chest tube drain that I lost the day I lost my lung. But a virus took me out and left me bedridden on a liquid diet for 3 weeks. I laid in bed thinking, this is ridiculous. How can this be happening to me? I don't have the white or red blood cells as backup in my bone marrow. Fighting stage 4 metastatic colon cancer took everything my body had. That's what immunocompromised is. It's me. I'm that person. I was 45 and an elite athlete at diagnosis in November of 2019. Now I'm the person writing to you asking for your protection. I look okay. My hair is growing back. My kids are masked and participating in sports, but we are not okay.
Chlorine, polyester, polypropylene, fiberglass, formaldehyde, ethylene oxide, oxyrane, I don't know what that is, polytetrafluoroethylene, and perfluorooctanoic acids. And like I said, this is not a comprehensive list. The industrial dyes, I couldn't even pronounce half of what they are. But what they all have in common is they're all carcinogenic. And so the kids are breathing this stuff for 35 hours a week. And I'm worried that in 5 or 10 years, there's going to be a lot of kids walking around with mouth cancer because they've been breathing through these masks all day long. No.
And I've seen some people that believe in the other side that say, we're afraid that they're going to get bullied if they continue to wear a mask. But my opinion, the way I've experienced it is that we are bullied when we say that we don't want to wear a mask. And my children have heard the term plague rats because they have not worn a mask because of a choice that, as adults we've made. So I hope you can understand my hesitation to even come here because I'm honestly nervous what people are going to say about me after this, but I can speak to what's in my own home. And my children are struggling with masks as little kids. They've struggled to learn how to read. They've struggled social cues with their peers. Teachers, they don't always understand emotions that are going on. It's really been a struggle.
3 minutes. I hate to
The school committee voted to lift the mask requirement for all Hopkinton public schools effective February 28th. Providing individual choice on wearing masks at school, including strongly recommending masks for unvaccinated students and staff in alignment with the DESE policy and acknowledging DESE reserves the right to reinstitute the mask mandate if appropriate based on state and local public health data. Our own Jim Cousins hosted the final episode of HCAM's Hopkinton Hangout Hour. Here's a look.
Before we go, Mike has edited a final segment of highlights to bring you. And before that, I wanted to take a moment to thank you all for making this program successful. The staff here at HCAM have done a fantastic job of working through the pandemic. And Mike, Tom, Matt, and Bob are the best crew I've had the honor of working with in my career. I have heard many comments that the Hangout Hour kept people in touch and informed during the very long period of social distancing and staying home. It is very heartwarming for me to hear that and all the other nice things, because that's what we do, try to keep us talking and interacting. I won't mention any specific guests because I wouldn't be able to stop from listing all of them. Town officials, business people, those cooped up at home, just everyone. Thank you for sharing your time and your stories with us. Not only has this pandemic changed me, but the Hangout Hour has changed HCAM TV, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
I'd like to welcome the community to our very first Hopkinton Hangout Hour. During this time, while our community is looking to socially isolate and keep our distance, we want to step in and try to keep us connected virtually. So I know the quality of this is not what you usually expect from HCAM, but the emphasis here is on connecting community, getting people talking, getting people to share their stories and be able to, get some information along the way too.
And as I said, I'm on the phone. I've been on the phone every day with Dr. Kavanaugh and her administration. But it's an interesting. I mean, it's a complicated process because you're trying to control for multiple variables. But we believe that we've got the building is in good. All the buildings are in good shape. We've got controls, policies, and procedures in place.
The state still has not met, so we're still officially in the stage 1 drought for Massachusetts. But I think they're meeting either today or tomorrow. And I would think with the rain they had, they will most likely revise that standard. It was great to get the rain a couple weeks ago. Unfortunately, we also suffered some damage as we had quite the lightning storm that accompanied some of it last Saturday. A couple of our wells took a strike and had to replace some equipment. down there. Unfortunately, we're able to get most of those back up and running. We have one well that's currently down for another issue, but we're working on that at the moment.
Yeah, and I would add, I think that, so actually it was last school year, I had a conversation with one of our students who actually reached out to me, wanted to schedule an opportunity to talk about curriculum and his experience going through Hopkinton Public Schools. And so I had the assistant superintendent that Carol just mentioned, Jen Parson, join me. And we had a really rich conversation with that student. Jen and I met afterwards and talked about some changes that we can make. And that has been in play, and I talked to teachers about this concept of windows and mirrors, which is not a concept that I came up with by any means, but it's a terminology out there that, when you're in a learning environment, there needs to be curricular materials that reflect who you are as a person, but also shed a light on other people that are not like you in a variety of different ways.
This is my nature collage craft number 1. She's very cute. I'm not going to name her, but she's very cute. All right.
Now, are there products that you could use that would keep those, keep the leaves like from drying out? Is there like treatments for it or anything like that would make it last?
Yes, there is. You can. Well, if you were going to really preserve that, you would mount it probably in an acrylic box frame, and you would spray it with, I want to say fixative, but I think that's a photographic term. But there is material, there is acrylic or something spray that you can put on there to keep it intact.
Yeah, so Thompson's boot manufacturer, and if you look, I can't blow it up with the current software that I have it on right now, but this little sign right here says Grove Street. So this was the boot factory that is where CVS is today.
You can view the entire episode at our YouTube page, youtube.com/HCAMTV. We are going to take a quick time out, but a whole lot more ahead. You're tuned in to HCAM News. Don't go anywhere. HCAM programming is supported by our viewers, thank you, and by Phipps Insurance Agency, representing companies such as MapFree Insurance. Their family-owned independent agency is deeply rooted in the communities they serve and offer time-tested insurance products to fit individual needs. Since 1950, Phipps Insurance specializes in home, auto, business, condo, and renters insurance. Welcome back to HCAM News. Believe it or not, Hiller Winter Sports regular season play came to an end this week. Here's a look at the happenings during the last week of the regular season. Congratulations to Hopkinton Dover Sherborne girls hockey on winning the Kelly O'Leary tournament in Auburn last weekend. They took down Woodstock Academy and Auburn to capture the tournament title.
Sophia Mazzucchelli gets there. Sends it out in front, a shot and a goal! Kaylin Thompson puts it in!
Hiller girls hockey closed out their season versus Ursuline Academy on Monday at the New England Sports Center. Kaylin Thompson, Haley Cox, and Sophia Mazzucchelli had goals, but the Raiders co-op lost the game by a final of 6-3. They finished the season 3-17. Hiller girls basketball participated in the Westboro tournament over vacation week. They took their first game 53-40 over Shepherd Hill and fell to Medway 41-33. The Hiller girls finished the regular season 8-12. Hiller boys basketball closed out their regular season versus Wayland on Tuesday, February 22nd. Hiller's offense struck often throughout the first half.
Shot put back, count it, Marazimi.
Wow, tough play. Come up here.
It was some kind of bone, either a head or an elbow. Casper for three, knocks it down. P3, that's no good. Marazimi has it. Feeds it up. Schnorr takes it out. Decent rough for three. Got it.
It was a 51-34 Hiller lead heading into the fourth quarter, and Evan Marazimi was red hot shooting from the field.
Distracted if I was a shooter. The whistle blew before he took the shot, but
He should have gotten another shot.
I would agree. Yeah.
Casper over to Marazimi for three. Yes.
He's got a nice rotation.
Elbow no good. Kaufman with the rebound. Maharik. Marazimi for three.
Oh,
yes. Drains it.
The Hillers took the game 67-40 and improved to 13-6 heading into their final game of the regular season in Foxborough. Evan Marazimi had a team-leading 19 points, 10 of which came in the fourth quarter. Karosh Fatahi and Sam Pantera netted 10 points each. Hiller boys hockey took on Hudson on Tuesday, February 22nd. Hopkinton leading 1-0 heading into the second period, and they heavily built up their lead.
To DeRocher. DeRocher looking for the shot, and he puts it in! What a beauty of a goal from Declan DeRocher! And that is sent in front. Great shot there by Barris. And now Title sends it over and popping it in. It's going to be Vasily Zolotarev. Karatsa trying to break free. And he does along the far side. One in front of him. Takes a shot and he puts it in. Joe Karatsa. Taking a big hit there is Scardino. That's sent out. Title in the slot and it's just wide. Title sends it back. Scardino with a goal! Great feed from Title, and Joe Scardino pops it in. Purpura gets in there. Sends it back to Peterson. And now across over to Berman. And now there's a quick shot by Karatsa, and that went in. What a goal by Karatsa. Then he went flying into the end boards.
Hopkinton took the game 6-0. The Hillers and Ashland did battle in the regular season finale on Wednesday, February 23rd. Ashland leading 1-0 in the first period, but the Hillers responded.
Racing up the ice. Closing in, and he gets through a couple kilometers, starts it out, and he puts it in! Joe Morse with the floater! Floats it up. Hillers looking for an opening. Ian Tosca takes a shot off a defender. It goes, takes a secondary shot, and it's put in! Wyatt Ian Tosca makes it 2-1! Berman trying to close in, sends it back. DeRocher. DeRocher sends it over, and then a shot by Zolotarev, and it's turned away. Secondary shot, it's put in! And that was Michael Berman! Off the deflection, Berman with the power. And the Hillers take a 3-1 lead.
Hopkinton nets 3 goals in the first period and led it 3-1 heading into the second period. But Ashland nets 3 goals of their own in the second and an empty netter in the third to take the game 5-3. Hopkinton finishes the regular season 10-10. Ashland finishes 11-9. Next up for both teams, it's playoff time. Congratulations to Kate Powers, another title and school record at the 11th annual Massachusetts Scholastic Weight Throw Invitational. Kate Powers will continue her track and field career at Kentucky University next year. Lastly, our thoughts and prayers are with the family of Aubrey Doyle after he passed away at the age of 90. After overcoming infantile paralysis, Aubrey went on to become a star in multiple sports for the Hillers. He then played football at Brown University and served our country during the Korean conflict. Aubrey was a 3-sport, 33-year coach at Hopkinton High School and served as the athletic director for 31 years, from 1961 to 1992. Aubrey was inducted into the Hopkinton High School Hall of Fame in 1993. Aubrey will be very much missed in the community. May he rest in peace. Tom Nappy here with Hopkinton Hillers girls varsity basketball head coach Mike Greco. Coach Greco, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. So you have a pretty talented, experienced team this year. 6 seniors that we've watched play quite a few years. They seem to have a very good repertoire together, a good relationship on the court since they've been playing together so long. Can you talk about this year's team?
Sure. Yeah, as you mentioned, we're very senior laden, with 6 of them there. 4 of them I've had since they were freshmen. And then the other 2, joined the varsity their sophomore years. And we've really been able to sort of see them grow. Some of them, stepped right in, to prominent roles as freshmen and, kind of really had to grow up, on the court in front of everybody. While others, were sort of able to, work on their games behind the scenes a little bit before stepping into bigger roles either last year or this year. And, it's funny, for some of them, they're playing like, their 60th and 70th varsity game. It feels like they've been here forever. Sometimes you watch some of those college games, or at least you used to, and see the same guy there forever. And it's like, I can't believe he's still in school there. But that's kind of what it feels like with this group is that, they've been together for 3 and 4 years now. Obviously we know them well. We're enjoyed having them for the last couple of weeks.
Absolutely. It must help, especially with all the difficulties with the COVID situation, having an experienced group that kind of just knows the routine.
Absolutely. Last year, especially, which was such a different animal, with no locker rooms, no pregame, playing the abbreviated schedule. We got a late start. We were lucky last year that we returned all 11. And so the team chemistry and stuff was there from the start, from the year before. And then this year, returning those 6, even though it's been a little bit more of a regular schedule, we still had the lengthy absence, beginning of the season when we had to have 5 games rescheduled. And so having that experienced group was huge for us in terms of being able to get stuff in practice and, get ready to play games on short notice.
And this team right now, they're right on the cusp of the playoffs. They're still technically in with the new state system, I believe, since it's the top 32, if I'm correct.
That's right. Yeah. So right now we're ranked 30th. Despite the fact that we're below 500, if you look at the power rankings on the MIAA site, we actually have the second strongest opponent schedule or strength of schedule in all of Division I. So that's definitely helping us out right now. So right now, I think we're ranked 30th. And so you're right. If the playoffs started tomorrow, we'd be in. So we're hoping to stay there.
A big game coming up against Medfield this Friday. Can you talk about this Medfield team? They beat you in the first meeting.
They did. Yeah, they got us at our place. They are always a tough program to play. Playing in their gym tomorrow night on senior night is going to be a tall task. I'm sure they're going to have a big crowd there. They got the boys and girls playing back-to-back senior night for both programs. They're an exceptionally well-coached team. They run a killer 1-2-2 3-quarter court press, and it just seems like they are just always in the right position at the right time. They do a tremendous job getting up in passing lanes, and they've got a very balanced, also, with a lot of upperclassmen, but a very, very balanced scoring attack as well on the offensive end.
Absolutely. It should be a couple great battles on Friday, as you'll have the girls boys doubleheader. I wish it was at Hopkinton so we could broadcast it, but that's okay.
Same. I'm looking forward to seeing the boys play. It'll be one of the first times I've had a chance to watch them this year.
You'll be impressed. Coach Keene has a good squad over there.
Yeah, I talk to him often, and we're always sharing stories and telling each other how the games went and stuff like that. So I've been keeping close tabs, but I'm excited to be able to see them in person.
Absolutely. Kiki Fossbender has been tremendous this season. In many games where the team struggled to get points, Kiki Fossbender was able to pick the team up, put it on her back, and grab a victory such as the win against Ashland, where she dropped 29 points. Can you talk about her performance this season? It seems she's really come a long way.
Yeah, she has always had a knack for scoring the ball.
For just $10, you could get the chance to win a gift card every day and benefit the Hopkinton High School class of 2022. You can buy tickets up until February 28th. So if you are interested, make sure you get your tickets soon. Check out hopsenior2022.com. Hopkinton town election papers are available. There are many spots open. So if you are interested in running, head down to Hopkinton Town Hall. You can also check out hopkintonma.gov. Our picture of the week, the MIAA named Hopkinton's Bianca Powell Student Athlete of the Month for her academic and athletic achievements and her efforts to help others. This photo is courtesy of the MIAA Twitter feed. Upcoming town government meetings include on Tuesday, March 1st at 6 p.m. We'll have the Select Board meeting. And then on Thursday, March 3rd at 7 p.m., we'll have the School Committee meeting over on our HCAM Ed channel and, of course, YouTube page. To view all upcoming town government meetings and past ones, head over to hcam.tv/gov. For all the information on upcoming town government meetings, head over to hopkintonma.gov. We are out of time for this edition of HCAM News. You can catch us again next Thursday at 6:30 p.m. For everybody at HCAM, I'm Tom Nappy. As always, we thank you for tuning in. Take care, enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll talk to you again soon. Goodbye, everybody.